Welcome everyone and thank you for joining us here on the channel where we explore the strange, thrilling and sometimes unbelievable world of valuable coins, rare treasures hiding in plain sight and ordinary pocket change that turns out to be worth life-changing amounts of money. And today we're diving into one of the most astonishing possibilities in modern numismatics, the incredible idea that a simple 2005 1-cent coin, something so common and overlooked that millions of people handle them every single day without a second glance, could reach a staggering value of $13 million because of an almost impossible combination of minting errors, mechanical malfunctions, die failures, planchet problems, metal anomalies, die pair mismatches, striking inconsistencies and a cascade of rare circumstances that create a one-of-a-kind coin unlike anything else produced that year. And as we journey deeper into this story, we'll explore exactly how a 2005 penny could end up being worth such a jaw-dropping sum, what kinds of mint mistakes collectors consider priceless, how stacking multiple rare errors multiplies the value exponentially, why a unique specimen can command multi-million-dollar bids at auction, and how the tiniest details, down to microscopic variations in die alignment or planchet composition, can transform a 1-cent coin into a numismatic masterpiece that collectors around the world would fight to own. The 2005 Lincoln cent, struck at enormous volume across the United States Mint, typically holds no special significance because billions of these coins entered circulation, making them incredibly common in their standard form, but within these massive production runs lie moments where machines malfunction, dies misalign, planchets slip, unwanted materials interfere and human oversight allows coins with remarkable flaws to pass through undetected, and although most of these errors are minor and worth only a few dollars, there exists the extremely rare scenario where multiple major errors happen simultaneously or in immediate sequence, creating a coin with compound rarity so intense that it becomes the only known example of its kind. And in the world of collectors, true uniqueness, verified uniqueness, is the ultimate key to multi-million-dollar value. Now imagine that our theoretical 2005 penny began its life not on the intended copper-plated zinc planchet weighing 2.5 grams but on a leftover bronze planchet weighing closer to 3.1 grams, something that should not exist more than 20 years after the mint officially abandoned bronze for the zinc format, but leftover stock has appeared in exceedingly rare cases in other years, and a bronze 2005 penny alone would already shock collectors. But imagine that this wrong planchet was not ordinary bronze but perhaps even a foreign planchet from another country's production run, something with a slightly different shape, weight, or metal composition that accidentally found its way into the hopper, creating a coin that not only weighs incorrectly but also has sound differences, ring tests that don't match standard cents and metal coloration that subtly reveals its unusual nature. And this wrong planchet foundation sets the stage for even more remarkable errors. Now let's imagine that during the creation of the dies used to strike this coin, the obverse die suffered from a double die error, one of the most famous and desirable mistakes in coin collecting, caused by a misalignment during the hubbing process where design elements are impressed twice with slight shifting, creating dramatic doubling in the date, lettering, or even Lincoln's portrait. And if this doubling were bold and easily visible, particularly in the date and the words "I in God we trust," this alone would elevate the coin's value into the thousands or tens of thousands. But now layer this double die on top of the wrong planchet and you already have a coin that experts would consider extremely rare. Yet the story continues because we must imagine further complications to reach the $13 million valuation. Picture that during striking, the coin was hit with a misaligned die, creating an off-center strike that shifts the entire design slightly or dramatically toward one edge. And while off-center strikes are not incredibly rare in general, finding one combined with a double die on a wrong planchet begins to enter the realm of impossibility, especially if the off-center strike is extreme yet still leaves the full 2005 date visible, something collectors especially prize because it preserves key identifying information even within the misalignment. But what if the reverse die used on this coin was not even intended for a 2005 cent, but instead was a mismatched die from either a previous year or a different denomination entirely, creating what numismatists call a mule error, one of the rarest and most valuable types of mint mistakes because mules should never occur and almost always result in instantly legendary coins. And a mule 2005 penny, especially one paired incorrectly with a dime reverse or with an experimental die, would immediately become one of the most important discoveries in minting history. And if this mule die also showed signs of deterioration, cracks, cuts or breaks, adding surface abnormalities to the coin's design, collectors would go wild over the visual impact and the technical rarity involved. Now let's imagine that while this coin was being struck, the collar die, which holds the coin in place and ensures proper sizing, failed to properly engage, resulting in a broad strike, where the coin expands beyond its original boundaries, creating a wider diameter and smoother rim that lacks the typical raised border. And if this broad strike combines simultaneously with an off-center shift, a double die obverse and a mismatched reverse die, we are witnessing an event so statistically improbable that experts would consider the coin a once-in-a-century minting accident. But we're still not done because further errors could have occurred in the lead-up to or during the strike. For instance, strike-through errors could have left imprints from foreign material, whether it be grease buildup, cloth fibers, metal scraps, wiring fragments, or even parts of retaining felts from the minting machinery, leaving ghost-like patterns on Lincoln's portrait or on the reverse where the memorial or shield design should appear. And strike-through errors come in many forms, some minor and others extraordinarily dramatic. And if a major strike-through removed parts of the design entirely, or created an imprint of a recognizable object, the uniqueness would escalate substantially. Meanwhile, it's possible that a die rotation occurred as well, meaning the reverse was rotated from its intended alignment with the obverse, not by a small degree but something dramatic like 90 or even 180 degrees, and rotated die errors become far more valuable when combined with major errors like double dies and wrong planchets, and when all of these anomalies coexist on a single coin, the possibilities enter a realm so rare that the coin becomes essentially unmatched. Consider also the chance of a triple strike or multi-strike event, where the coin failed to eject from the striking chamber and was impressed more than once in slightly different positions, creating overlapping images, ghost outlines and layered design elements that create one of the most visually spectacular types of mint errors in the hobby. And if a multi-strike coin also happens to sit on the wrong planchet with double dies, mule pairing, off-center alignment, broad strike expansion, strike through anomalies and rotated dies, it becomes a marvel of minting chaos and an artifact of mechanical failure that borders on miraculous in its survival. And imagine the story of this coin's discovery, perhaps found by someone casually inspecting pocket change or pouring coins out of an old jar, or maybe discovered by a collector using a scale and noticing the weight doesn't match standard specifications, leading to further investigation under magnification and the sudden realization that this coin carries layer upon layer of rare errors, prompting submission to a grading service where experts are stunned by the combination of features, declaring it the only known example in existence. And when a coin is truly unique, documented, authenticated, and unmatched, it becomes the kind of prize that investors, collectors, and museums would compete for at auction, driving the price into the millions and then beyond as each bidder recognizes the historical significance and absolute rarity before them. Now imagine the bidding frenzy at a major auction house, where wealthy collectors push aggressively, each determined to claim the rarest error coin ever attributed to the 2005 production year, and as the price climbs past 1 million, then 2 million, then 5 million, the excitement grows until finally someone places the winning bid of $13 million, setting a record and cementing this error penny's place in numismatic legend, and at that moment the coin ceases to be merely a mistake, it becomes an icon, a symbol of the mint's vulnerability to rare mechanical chaos and a monument to the thrilling unpredictability of coin collecting. And this possibility, the idea that a coin as humble as a 2005 penny could be worth more than most houses, more than rare art, more than luxury cars or even some historical treasures, is what keeps collectors fascinated, checking their change, examining every detail, weighing coins, inspecting edges, searching for doubling, misalignment, discoloration, cracks, rotations, expansion, clipping, and all other signs that a miracle might be sitting quietly in their hand, because in the vast ocean of billions of ordinary coins, somewhere out there may be one extraordinary piece whose errors